here we are, Fort Wilkins State Park. What is the date? January 10th. It is -2 degrees Fahrenheit. We are freezing, but we are going on this adventure. We are going to have a good time. All right, here we go. All right, how do you get up here?
Probably easier.
Big flow bump. We had to go up and over. Joanne's blazing a trail. Definitely a different view from what you'd have in the summertime. I don't think we have to register as campers, if you ask me. Does this path go to the...
I don't know where the hiking, biking path goes to.
We have a cannon out front, a little bit buried. Must have felt really cold here during the days this fort was manned. All right, which direction did we go?
Go that way, but it says this thing's closed as of mid-October.
Camp Run is closed for winter. It is really cold. I think we're not going to make it much further than just the park entrance, the fort entrance. We walked into the park. It's quite lovely. The day is kind of beautiful, a little bit bright, but it's really cold. So we're just going to take a peek over here, see what we can see. Here we are at the fort entrance. You can see it's all closed up for the winter. People have gone through on snowmobiles. We're just going to take a quick walk on our snowshoes. Here's a trading post. Winter sun. Oh, it's cold here. GoPro, stop. Here we are coming down the walkway into the main body of the park. You can see here Lake Fanny Ho. Giving off fog. Makes you think that Makes you think that it might not be fully frozen over. Can see the fog. And no bicycles beyond this point. We promise we're not using any. Main line of buildings as we're coming in. We've been here every summer for quite a while now. And find the whole of it quite fascinating. This is the main entrance into the main body of the fort itself.
I can't even imagine how miserable life must have been here back in the 1800s when this fort was active. Especially since most of these federal troops obviously wouldn't have came from this area. I can't even imagine what it would be like to try to go through a winter here in these little log cabin single pane windowed places. This place is actually closed, so we won't be getting too close to any buildings. But I'm gonna go to the flagpole ahead. This would have been what they called their parade grounds. For any of you that have ever been in the military. I can't even imagine. We've been here a few times in the summer when they have college kids reenacting this place.
I'm following Dwayne into the kind of main commerce area. There's a bakery and a store, storage buildings, places for ammunition, quarters for officers, various commerce. You can see here a building up there through the trees. Other buildings here. I'll walk down the front of them for you. Go first.
This is a crazy place. I believe once I read in a sign that this was placed here to protect the fur industry, but I don't know that for certain. I believe this here is Lake Fanny Ho. We just wanted to get out with the snowshoes. The wind chill's bitter. Very bitter. But I can't imagine what it must have been like to be stuck at this garrison in a UP winter.
You can see the boarded porch, probably to keep people out of the mud in the springtimes. The boardwalk extends between all the buildings. There's a barrel there. Just walking along the edge of here. It's hard to tell what it is. All the buildings look pretty much the same, but they are multi-purpose. School, officers' quarters, communications, that sort of thing. And then earlier where we were coming in, there's a bakery. Up there you see the store. Various buildings, all arranged in a circle. Lake Fanny Hole behind.
Back in the day when this was actually a real army fort. One of those buildings over there, they have an actual stockade, you know, a jailhouse. One summer when we were here, we were in there in the tour, and I don't know if people, since it was closed, were carving their names and stuff in there, or if that was actually soldiers who were locked in there. But obviously we can't get to any of the buildings. And with the wind chill we're fighting right now, I'm actually gonna try real hard to convince her for us to go back to the truck. My fingers are beginning to get numb. And I have gloves on. I'm wearing about 8 layers. You ready to head back? Okay.
So here you can see the row of bakery and laundry and that sort of thing here as we're exiting the main part of the fort. Dwayne's pretty sure this one's the blacksmith shop.
The one next to it, I believe, is where they bake the bread.
The next one's the bakery. What are these lined up here?
I'm not sure if those were troop quarters or visitors quarters.
Troop or visitors quarters?
That would have been the main gate, so
okay,
that
so
may have been quarters for people who weren't technically in the army. Back in the day, this would have been the gate.
So, and this would have been closed off.
And this big brick thing to our right, that is the huge wood-fired oven they baked. One time I was in there when they had the enactors in here, and they have these huge rows of bread pans. That's where they bake the bread.
GoPro, stop the computer.
Yes.
GoPro.
You're on film right now.
Oh. Well.
So it's from the 1840s. And it was briefly re-garrisoned. It began in 1844, abandoned 2 years later, and briefly re-garrisoned in 1860s. So they didn't last very long up here in the Copper Harbor winters. As you can see, Beth was cold too. She didn't stop. She's heading to the truck. Very cold today. Very cold. I have quite a few layers. My body isn't cold. It's my fingertips in these gloves. I've came up here and camped a couple times. It's a nice campground. This is a campground you could camp in prior to catching the queen if you wanted to. Myself, we usually get a hotel. Unless we're taking the Ranger, we can drive there from staying at our own house. But Copper Harbor is almost 2 hours from our house. So to catch a 8 o'clock boat, be there at 7, we'd have to leave our house at like 4:35 in the morning. As far as camping here prior to taking the queen, you could. I prefer a real bed and a hot shower prior to going out on the island, because we always go for at least 10 to 14 days usually. This year we're going for a real quick jaunt across the Manong over the 4th of July weekend. So
I'm making it so that I can cut out that all right part. We're gonna have fun.